Hi, I'm Saint Vicious, and I'm going to talk about the 3.03 patch notes. Actually, just recently got a chance to play on them because we were away playing the LCS Super Week. But I played on it, and I'm going to give you my opinion. Mumu got nerfed even more this patch. I feel he's still okay in solo queue, but in competitive play, I think he's all but useless just because he's going to get counter jungled, and he just has nowhere near the amount of power that he used to have. Like, just two big nerfs in a row on him, and nerfing his bandage tosses, which is already like one of his primary sources of damage, um, and the AOE on his ultimate. Like that's just those are two big nerfs on top of the one that they had previously, like 2 patches ago. So I don't think Moon was viable anymore. Ashe got a nice little buff. Her attack speed per level went up. I think it's like 15% total or something like that at level 18, so that should put her more in line with some of the other AD carries. So I think that's really good because Ashe provides like an amazing amount of utility if you can make it out of laning phase. Darius got nerfed. This is kind of like to make sure that Darius doesn't like build really tanky and just drag the fight out and snowball it. I think this is a good nerf. I don't really think it makes him like unviable or anything like that. He's still good. There's also to make sure like Darius doesn't just like run his lane over because like Darius, if he kills you with his ultimate in lane and he gets the reset, at the moment you come back to lane, he's just gonna do it again. So to prevent like severe snowballing. Garion got nerfed. I don't know why Garion got nerfed. He doesn't get picked anyway, so I don't really have any like comments on this. Garen was an incredibly good mid to late game champion though. If you got his core build, he was like impossible to kill. But I don't know why they nerfed him. They have the Hecarim changes, which kind of like buffed his early game by buffing Rampage, and then they also upped his healing on his W to a little bit higher, but they also nerfed it late game by 10%. So yeah, and they also changed the cooldown. So this is kind of like an overall nerf to Hecarim. Kind of buffed his early game. I think he's still going to be a good champion though. They also nerfed Spirit of the Elder Lizard too though, which is kind of a nerf to Hecarim as well. So I think he's still okay. He's still a solo queue like he just wrecks the face so hard in solo queue, but I think that these changes won't affect him too much. It'll hurt him for competitive play though. Janna got buffed. Her mana cost went down, which is kind of really good, but she still needs a little bit. She's so situational to pick, so I think Riot has plans to buff her some more. So we'll see how that goes. The casting changes to make it to where his W doesn't affect inhibitors of the Nexus or anything like that. It's kind of good because if you get like 400 AP on Kassadin, you can take down a Nexus or an inhibitor in like 5 seconds. That's a good change. This is not supposed to work that way. Some minor changes to Kayle. They took the magic resist per level off, and then they also like changed the way the Q works, and it also lowered her overall damage by taking away the amplified damage on it, which is kind of good. It weakens her laning ability and weakens her late game presence. So she becomes more of an ultimate, but like more utility than just like an overall DPS machine. Because now she has 55% slow, and she doesn't like amplify her own damage as much. So I don't think that she's going to be going away from the scene, but I think she's not going to be like, oh my god, you have Kayle, you automatically win kind of thing. Nidalee got her magic resist per level removed, and for some reason they upped the AP ratio on swipe. So, an aspect of the Cougar also no longer grants magic resist. And this is kind of more to make it to where you have to think about when to go in as Nidalee rather than just going in at any time or building your Super Bruiser. So I think it's more to make a selective like thought process for her Cougar form rather than just using it anytime you want. So that's good nerfs. I think this balances out Nidalee really good. Renekton, that's a bug fix. Taric was kind of like really strong just because of his aura. They nerfed that and made it kind of more balanced to scale in the late game. Before he would just run everybody over in lane. So I kind of actually like the changes on this. He's still good, but I don't think he's like as overpowered as he was before. Overall, I think he's still okay. I've seen people jungling him and doing on top lane as well. Tristana got buffed. I don't know why she got buffed because already with the way the meta goes, especially when she can 2v1, and there's also a lot of supports that can get her out of laning phase. She was already really strong, but now I feel that she might even be the strongest AD carry in the game right now, especially with Blade of the Ruined King and things like that, because now she has the 90% attack speed increase on top of, 20% more attack speed per level, or overall at 18. So I think Tristana is going to be a monster. Tryndamere, they just nerfed AP Trin. That's kind of a solo queue thing, doesn't matter. AP Trin's not that good anymore. Vayne, they kind of gave her some quality of life changes with the mana. I felt like Vayne was already in a good spot before, so I don't know why they changed this. Yeah, so these are kind of irrelevant. These are going to be more for laning phase rather than mid to late game. Vi got her overall damage toned down a little bit. She got her phase attack damage and denting blows scaled down a little bit. So she's not going to be as strong, but she's still pretty damn strong. Like, Vi's still overall really good. Xin Zhao is like one of the biggest changes of this patch. They lowered his E by 20 damage and for later ranks, and then they also increased the cooldown by 1 second at all ranks, which is kind of just to make it to where his sticking power is a little less and he does a little bit less damage, but he's still going to be very much viable. They also toned down the damage on his ultimate and increased the cooldown. All these changes kind of just more balance out Xin. He's still a really good pick, but you might see people fitting like Brutalizer into the core build, so I think he's still good. Zed got some like damage re-range, none of that really matters. Warmog's got the health regen toned down, that's whatever. I thought Frozen Mal was a better item in all cases anyway, so who cares about Warmogs? Bilgewater, like this is the biggest change of this patch is this is the Blade of the Ruined King. Like this is the patch of Blade of the Ruined King, mainly because if you look at the gold efficiency of Blade of the Ruined King, they took 15 damage worth of off of it, which is like 600 gold worth of stats or something like that, and then they added 1,000 gold worth of attack speed onto it. So, and they also increased the lifesteal, so they made the item so much more gold efficient. And they added this like execute that just does god awful amounts of damage to it. So I think Blade of the Ruined King is incredibly broken. And if you actually look at the damage charts, they have it on like Random Gaming. Blade of the Ruined King actually does more damage than Bloodthirster, which costs more money at all points of the game and with all item choice like combos. So just the fact of that alone, that a cheaper item that has an active on top of it does more damage than a Bloodthirster and provides more lifesteal overall. I think that that's just incredibly broken, and I'm pretty sure Riot's going to hotfix this. So I really hope they do, because we have the MLG patch coming up. I mean the MLG tournament, and it's going to be played on this patch. So I hope to God they nerf this item, or at least they should increase the gold cost to like 3,500. Like it is way too cheap for what it does, but it needs to be more in line with all the other insanely good late game items. Like if you want to build for this build, you need to put the gold in. It's just way too cheap for what it does. Spirit of the Elder Lizard got nerfed. It's like whatever. It's more of a late game nerf. Doesn't really matter too much. Still okay item. It was already really cost effective as is. And then they added this like ping system in. It's kind of annoying. I don't like it. Yeah. And anything else that got changed? No, that's about it. So, yep, that's my vlog on the patch notes, and yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, Blade of the Ruined King, OP.